to it here today. Good excitement there. Hi. It's good to see all of you here today. Did everybody have a good spring break? Some of you. Do we have any Independence? Who's Independence Day? So you guys start now. All right. You guys, so Flip, good to see you here. You're starting your spring break now. All right, we're on vacation. Flip is here with us, so it's going to be a chill day for you. Enjoy your spring break. Independent schools, Blue Springs, Green Valley, you guys are back on. So, boo, I know. Got to go to school. Got to go to school. You got to learn. Hey. Okay. Shh. All right. Share your spring break stories with your small groups here shortly. We're going to jump into things. We do want to make sure everybody knows what's going on. So, boys, girls, we do want to make sure you know that this Wednesday we are back on for Exodus. So we will be back on normal Wednesday nights. Thank you for that energy. I appreciate that. This Wednesday, back on, so show up, be here, 6:30. 6:30. Same as always. Same as always. We start at 6:30. You can show up early if you want. Come back up 6:30, and then next Sunday, we do have our garage sale fundraiser meeting. Will you put that slide up? Make sure, all right, this is like, so I want everybody to pay attention here. So put your phones away because you're not playing any games the rest of the time. So just put them up. Follow along, ladies, gentlemen, so we don't have a bunch of questions here. Now, our camp registration has been sent out to families, and your parents should have it. It's been posted on our Facebook group page. Make sure your parents are aware of this because we have limited spots that we can bring this year, all right? This is not this isn't like Camp Revo where we kind of help run the entire camp. We are going to a camp. I've already paid for so many spots, and that's how many we can take, all right? A lot of registration has already happened quickly, so we are down to I think less than 60 spots left. So if you go home and you're like, Mom, Dad, have you guys signed me up yet? And you're saying, no, just be aware. It is filling up really quickly. I was just joking with my wife this morning, I looked through camp registration. It's probably good if we signed up our own kids, because if I don't want to be the late one, if the pastor can't even get his kids signed up. So I'm just letting you know, talk to your parents because it is filling up very quickly. So let them know, get you signed up. This is not like Refuel Weekend, when you can wait until 3 days before and be like, oh, I forgot I haven't signed up yet. We won't be able to do anything about it. We only have a certain amount of spots. So then you're good. All right. So make sure, hey, here's the deal. I know camp's expensive, and so we do this. We have a garage sale fundraiser. Next Sunday is the meeting for that. If your parents want to be a part of the fundraiser, it's really important that someone gets down here. This fundraiser will not take long, but you can earn, if you work hard enough, you bring in enough stuff, you can easily earn all of your camp through this fundraiser. I know we have a few people. I know Blake, I know Hogmo's earned trips to Spain. I think you guys didn't even have to pay. They did. I think you're one of our highest earners at a garage sale. You and the Hadleys. You guys earned $1,500 or, yeah. So I'm just saying, with a little bit of work, you can easily earn all of your money for camp. What'd you do? What do you normally bring in, Christina? You always have $500, $600 for these. So, yeah, because I know a couple years ago we did this. Christina earned her camp, and then whatever money you earn that you don't use for camp, it stays in the account. So I know you did camp. Yeah, camp, Nicaragua, and Fall Escape. all of her money. That was like there's so much money she earned at this. So I'm just telling you, if you go and your parents are like $300, that's expensive. Just know, if you put some effort into this fundraiser, you will easily earn most of your money, if not all of it, for this. So tell your parents, get here. Be a part of that. It's just a really quick meeting right here next Sunday. And we will start posting all of the stuff about camp, showing everything this Wednesday, but your parents already have the information. So that's super important, because I don't want anybody to get left out that was planning on going and your parents just like signed up like they normally would for other events. So that's all of that. So Exodus, nothing going on tonight for anything. No group stuff tonight officially, unless you're just meeting or hanging out on your own. And Exodus this Wednesday, camp fundraiser. Everything rolling in. Hold on a second. Let me make sure. Never mind. No life group. Sorry, I got a text from Andrew, but it's not about this. All right, so that is everything, unless we have any other further announcements from anybody. There we go. The crowd loves it.
I had a debate with a flat earther. He said he'll walk to the edge of the earth to prove me wrong. I'm sure he'll come around.
All right, Will, it's good to have you back, buddy. We will get there, young lady. We start up a new team competition, and I have no idea what the points are, and I don't even know if that team competition slide got put in there. We had a bunch of our stuff got erased on the computer. So we might have to start back over. Who won last Sunday? 8th grade guys, and who else? Huh? Oh, wait, we still have it? There we go. 8th grade guys, 30 million. 8th grade girls, 40 million. 12th grade guys had 5 points. 5. No, we started fresh. Yeah, started fresh. 12th grade guys get -1 point for lying, not being here. If you lost by 1 point, that'd be hilarious to me. Hey, all right, so we're going to do a quick game because we need to get things rolling here. I'm going to need... Well, we could either bring one person up here from each group, or I could just go down and, like, pick you. Yes. Yes, and it's in the camp email that I sent. You can stay where you're at, but I will go by grade and group, okay? Grade and group. And then if you don't answer it quickly, it's going to go to the next person. How about that? Actually, just jump up if you know the answer, and leaders, you tell me who went first. All right, let's do that from there. Do what? So here's the game. There's going to be 2 pictures. We've played this before. 2 pictures. You got to guess what's the word those pictures are creating, okay? You got to guess what's the word. And if you know it, just stand up real quick. Whoever stands up first, I will call on you. If you're wrong, sit down. So don't start yelling out the answers, because I might go to the second person that got picked, all right? We good? Everybody knows what's going on? All right. So leaders, help out watching what we are doing here. Will, whenever you're good, go ahead and put up that first slide, and we'll see who jumps up first. Whoa, yes. Huh? Courthouse. That is correct, Molly. All right. Freshman girls with a point. That's the kind of energy we need, all right? She scare you. Here we go. Next one. Yeah. No, Jesus pie. No, sit down. If someone could bake a Jesus pie, I would be happy. Come on. Think about it. Anybody? Yes. No. You're so, oh my gosh. You're like, No. Anybody want to just look and take a guess? Yeah. Jesus Force. No, it's such a great name of a band. Yes. Huh? No, sit down. Yes. Christmas, that is correct. Miss Ella with a win on that. All right, good job. Good job, Ella, good job. You had the mass part. No. Ethan figured out the mass part, but he didn't put the Christ mass part together. All right. That's a tough one. Good job. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Next one. I didn't call on you. Yeah. No. Yes. Babysitter. Yes. Baby chair. Baby chair. I sit in my baby chair when I eat my Jesus pie. All right. Babysitter goes to 8th grade girls. 8th grade girls. I got to call on you first. You can't just stand up and yell things. All right. Apology accepted. Thank you. All right. Next one. No, sit down. Took too long. Yeah. Huh? What? No. No. Huh? Backyard. He was waiting. He was waiting. You cannot stand up if you don't know the answer, Mason. He goes, I know. What? What? All right. 8th grade guys? 8th grade guys. All right. Go to the next one. Yep. Butterscotch. All right. Good job. Molly. Good job. Good job. Senior guys. Senior guys on the board. Next one. Brainstorm. 6th grade girls. 6th grade girls. It was close, but, you know. Next one. Grasshopper. That's correct, Mr. Rippey. That's correct. All right. Freshman? Freshman guys, 8th grade guys, 8th grade girls, 6th grade girls, senior guys, senior girls, freshman girls. No one has 2 points though, right? All right, here we go, here we go. Next one. Yep. Flashlight, that is correct, that is correct. 6th grade? 6th grade girls. 2 for the 6th grade girls. 2 for the 6th grade girls. Here we go. Colin, lipstick, all right. 2 for senior guys, 2 for senior guys. He was up quick. What do we got? Oh, I think it might have been McKee. Yeah, Stephanie says McKee's. No. Yeah, pineapple, that is right. 6th grade guys, there we go. On the board, 6th grade guys. Here we go. Hey, don't stand up. This messes me up if you guys do this, all right? Stand up and stay up, or don't stand up yet. Here we go. Next one. Drawbridge. Drawbridge. That was good. That took me a second. That took me a second. You're good, you. You're good. All right. Here we go. Forklift. Ooh. I know. Senior guys are starting to run away with it. 6th grade girls, you're still in this. You can still get it. Here we go. Go ahead. All right. Yep. Hamstring? Oh, nice. 7th grade guys. 7th grade guys are on it. That was a tough one. Get them right. Here we go. Who got it? They're over here. Yeah. Yeah. Housemaid? No. I don't know. All right, yeah. housewife, house cleaning, house sitter, homemade. Oh no, I didn't know that one. That was good. All right. Okay, here we go. Hey, go ahead. I'm going over here first. Jackpot? Oh, jackpot. All right. Do what? All right, how many of you guys have? Five? How many sixth grade girls have? 3? No. I thought you had 3. They had 2. All right, this one's worth 5 points. Here we go. It's bonus round. Here we go. No. Here we go. What do we got? What? Jonas. No, sit down. All of you sit down. Yeah. Box of what? No, sit down. Yes. No, sit down. Huh? Man box? What'd you say? Mailbox. Mailbox. Oh, that is correct. We got a tie between senior guys and freshman guys right now. All right, so only, huh? He said mailbox, right? Oh, he said, all right, he did not say mailbox. He did not say mailbox. All right. There's what? There's one more. I'm going to give freshman guys 5 points for honesty. And so, here we go. What do we got? What? Oh, no, yes. Blueberry pancake. Oh. Dang. Will was not going to have me cheat on them, man. I gave y'all every chance to beat them, all right? They destroyed you fair and square. Good job, senior guys. Good job. Girls, I tried, all right? I tried. Proud cake? Crown cake. Pretty sure it wasn't. All right. Good job, guys. Good job. I wanted you to have a clear-cut victory, all right? Like, no one's going to deny this. All right. 40 million for them. 40 million. 40 million. Because they fought against the odds. Like, I was really trying to give everybody else a fair chance. Do what? Oh, no. All right, and I'll give freshman guys get 10 points for being honest because they could have totally got away with that one. No, I was going to give him 5 points during the game. Minus 1 point for senior guys for arguing. Senior guys have 39.9 million. All right, I took away 39.9 million. I don't know what the math is on that, so we're just going that. All right, hey, let's hold on a second. Just calm down here. Got everybody all worked up. all worked up. Okay. We are going to jump into our lesson. We need a better transition between game and straight into lesson. We need to have announcements after the game next time. It's good stuff. Hey, I'm just glad you guys are all awake. Y'all are here. It's good. It's good. We got Easter coming up. When is Easter this year? It's always on a Sunday this year? Oh my gosh. I had no idea. April 17th? Okay. I should know that. It's always on a different Sunday, so it always messes me up. So we do have Easter coming up. So over the next... Oh, we had a video. We did have a transition. Too late. I'm already in it. I want, just for the next few minutes, for you guys to all pay attention, follow along, because I do love how this series sets us up over the next few weeks, just preparing and kind of thinking about Easter. Now, we started out last week talking about Lent, and, you know, these things that maybe we choose to give up as we replace one thing to focus on another thing. And so we talked about this idea that Lent is not always something that is practiced maybe among our churches. We kind of went through the history of Lent and how there's some really cool things that we can take from that and learn from it as we maybe substitute something in our life and use that time to focus on our relationship with Christ. And so all of that was in preparation for Easter. And so we kind of already started out some of this stuff, and we're going to be talking about this idea of a prism, which I'll get to here in the next few minutes. But as we get into Easter, all of these lessons are just going to kind of be going around and centering around the death and resurrection of Christ, and really showing like why Easter really is like the most important part of our entire faith. And I want us to kind of see things through some different perspectives. And that's why we're calling this series Prism. When you were like in second grade, you know, your teacher probably had one of those like, you know, crystals, like the piece of glass. And you like looked at it and you're like, look, it looks like a piece of glass. And then they tilt it just so and like shoots up all the colors of the rainbow on there. Everybody remember that? A prism. Yes, prism. And so they would talk to you about, like, you know, when the light shines through it, when you turn it just a little bit from the angle, you can really see all the different colors, everything that shines through this. That light that just looked like white light at one point, when you look through it through the right angle, it shows all these different perspectives. And so this idea of a prism is just looking at, sometimes we look at Jesus, we look at our Christ, we look at church, we look at our relationship with him through just kind of one lens. But this idea of when you really look at it through different angles, you see so much more. And it shows so much bigger than just, you know, church. And I'm big on that. I say that a lot. And I'm never saying that to like bash church. I'm saying it because I don't want your relationship with Christ to be just, I go to church on a Sunday, or I just do Wednesday night, or that. Like, it's so much more than that. And so we want to kind of talk about like our own lives and that relationship with Christ and how these things all intertwine. Everybody here probably has something in their life that no one else really knows about you, or maybe only like a few close people. Does anyone want to be brave enough to share something that you think like no one else really knows this about me, but maybe it's not embarrassing, maybe it's just a fun fact? Molly, yes. What is your middle name, Molly? Oh, would any of her family care to tell us? No. She would murder you? Like literally, would you be afraid of her when you went home today if you shared it? Okay. So maybe it's a middle name. Middle names are always funny because people are always like, I don't like my middle name. I'm not going to say it. But like, it's such a weird thing if they're like, what's your last name? Oh, I'm not telling you. I would never tell you my last name. Like, it's such a weird thing that we hide. But we all probably have. Maybe we won't talk about it right now just for the sake. If you're in group time, maybe you could share it in group time. But you all have something that a lot of people don't know about you. And it's that feeling. Sometimes it's something funny. Sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want everybody to know my middle name. Sometimes maybe it's like a silly thing that your friends find out about you, like a hobby or a weird thing that you do, like a food that you eat that you're like, I would never eat this around normal people, but like you're my close friend, so I'll eat this in front of you now. Like some sort of odd thing that you mix in together. Something funny about you, that you don't always let other people know. It's funny now because we talk about comic books and movies so much now that it's like totally like fine and everybody loves it. But that for me, like in mid school, and I've joked about this before, like in mid school and early high school, like freshman year, I was super into comic books, but no one talked about it. Like comic book movies and stuff weren't cool yet. And so I would like hide the fact that I would collect all of these comic books and read these comic books. And I would literally, like, there was a convenience store, it's 7-Eleven. Their 7-Elevens are just dying out, aren't they? Is there even a 7-Eleven around here anymore? So 7-Eleven at one time was like the Quick Trips, but they would sell these comic books. And so at the first of each month, they would have these comic books, and they would put them out there, and you could get the new issue. And I would, like, stroll up there like, just going to get a big gulp, get this comic book, and I would, like, sneak it like I was doing a drug deal. I, like, slide it on the counter, look around, make sure no one's there, pay my money, take my Punisher comic book. I wouldn't fold it because I didn't want to ruin it. And then, like, I would, like, tuck it, like, under my shirt or something and, like, walk back home to get home. And I would read this comic book because I didn't want anybody to know that I read comic books. Because it was like, when I was in high school and mid school, that was, like, super nerdy. Like, if they're like, look at the dork that reads comic books. Now it's like everybody comes out like, did you see this movie? Oh, my gosh, that new Doctor Strange movie. I was on YouTube watching, 50 different Easter eggs that were in the new trailer. I would have thrived so much better in that environment. And so those were something like, and only a few of my friends knew about it. And like, they would threaten to tell other people like, oh, man, I'm going to tell them you like comic books. And so we all have something that maybe people don't realize about us. And so I want to kind of think about that and how this ties in with Easter. We'll get to here in a second. This idea that everyone feels at some point that maybe we don't quite fit in because of the things we like or do, and we always have a feeling like I don't really fit in. Or maybe a feeling like no one really knows me. Like no one knows the real me. Like they kind of know like what I present to them, but they don't really know who I am. And if they did, they wouldn't understand me, or they think, we start to think, or they wouldn't like me if they really knew me. And there was a survey. And this was like right before COVID hit, so it's probably even higher now. In fact, I know it's higher now, but at the time when this survey was done, it said 40% of mid-schooler and high schoolers that were surveyed, this question, all said that they either feel lonely or disconnected from other people. They feel like people don't really know who I am, and people wouldn't really accept me. And that was like pre-COVID, and we know those numbers are higher. This idea of I have lots of people around me, but they don't really know who I am. This idea of separation. And obviously, that separation was created even more, during all of this time. And even still, like it's a little bit better now, but like you get sick and you're like, don't come back for 2 weeks. Go to your room, you're locked in, and like it's this whole new world that we're kind of in, and this idea that it's spreading this separation in relationships even more than ever before. Our social media and how we communicate through texting and stuff creates that separation even more. Like the idea of talking to people becomes even more. If you don't believe me, you're like, I'm not like that. Well, have you ever text people like 3 or 4 times and then all of a sudden they call you and you're like, I don't want to answer that. Like that's because we're like, I don't want to do that. Like I don't want to talk. This idea of separation and these barriers that we put between us. And sometimes it's how we feel on our own, and sometimes we place these barriers between us and other people. We're scared to let other people into our life. And so we place these barriers, and what we're looking at here is this idea that we need to understand that everybody at some point felt that way or feels that way right now. And we also all kind of have this same feeling that we know, like we don't really want to feel that way. We want interaction with people. Most people, all right, in general, are like, yeah, I want real relationships. I want depth to it. I don't want just like friends that I just joke around and make fun of each other all the time, but I want to know there's somebody I can go to if things are real. I want to be able to share real stuff with people. I want that real relationship. And this is that relationship that was kind of the whole reason, the whole point of why we celebrate Easter and why Easter was such a huge thing. So we struggle in our own relationships with each other in that way, but in the same way, we also struggle in that relationship with God that same manner of, I know who God is, and I know there's Jesus, and I'm all for it. Like, we all, for the most part, we're like, I'm good with that, and I consider myself a believer, but there is a barrier between my relationship between us and Jesus, and this is where and why we see what happened at Easter was so amazing. I'm going to jump right to the actual death of Christ. We're going to kind of jump ahead here, and we're going to be working back and forth between now and Easter on what was taking place there. And so, at this point, Jesus had been arrested. People were making things up about him or making false accusations about him. A lot of these religious people were saying, what he's doing cannot be. He's changing everything on how we do religion. And he is pointing people directly to God and not through the right steps. I mean, like religion and going between them and God was kind of like steps of a government. It's like you got to do this, and then you got to do this, and then you got to go to these people. And then you could have this relationship with God. And so what we see here was something like pretty unique. Pretty unique was happening. So I want us to understand before I go into this, this idea of a relationship with God and how God set it up all evolved around the temple and worship. And so, will you see if that slide worked that I put in there? Just a quick reminder of it should be a temple slide in there somewhere. And so, I don't know if you guys can see this really well, but in Jerusalem there was a temple. And to worship God, to go and to share what was going on between you and God, often they would go to this temple. And there was lots of barriers in this temple. And God had set it up a certain way, and we'll kind of talk really briefly why. And so you can see, like, there's a court where just the ladies were allowed to go and to worship God right there. They were separate from where, like, men and the other people would kind of be over in this area, kind of. A lot of that was due to distraction, because they felt like if women and men worshiped together, there was distraction that could take place. And maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. Maybe, there's some truth to that a little bit. And so there was some barriers here. So women kind of were out here, and then the men would kind of be over here. And in this area, there was also, like, men could only go so far because there was only areas for the priests to do certain things. And so even there are some barriers. And so oftentimes the temple was used for sacrifice for forgiveness of sins. And so God set this up in a way of saying, hey, I love you. This idea of worship is to recognize that you have sin in your life, but you can still come to me and you will be forgiven because I love you. And so he set up these different steps to show people his love for them and how serious sin was. And we won't go into everything, but men kind of messed this up, and we've talked about the clearing of the temple, and we've talked about how, like, man kind of made this into a power struggle of, like, well, that means if we're priests, we're better than you, and we get to do the things you don't get to do. And it was kind of, they muddied the waters in what God had set up. And so we see up here that even certain priests were allowed to do certain things, and then other higher-up priests went into the inner sanctuary, and in here, there was also a Holy of Holies where there was a thick, and I'm giving you a really short, kind of quick version of it, but there was a very thick curtain, either of a thick cloth and chain kind of thing, and a giant curtain, and that was separated other people from the Holy of Holies, where the Spirit of God was to be. And so this idea of all these different things to separate man from their worship, it was done in a way to reveal sin in our life, to show respect, to show authority, and really it was done in a way for God to show, like, I love you and I want you to have a way out of sin. But we messed everything up. And that was what Christ was doing here, was to come and say, hey, there is a new order that's going to take place, so that there will no longer be just, you don't have to do this animal worship or the, sacrificing of animals and this, and this. There will be a way for you just to, like, you're forgiven of your sins and to come directly to God. You don't have to go to this priest and to this guy. You can go directly to God, and that's what kind of started this whole thing where people are like, no, and we're going to stop this guy from saying this, and we're going to kill him because we don't know what else to do, and we got to stop this idea from spreading among the people. And so we see these barriers between really knowing who God is because we were messing things up. Man was messing up the whole thing. And so I'm going to jump straight into Matthew 27. And there's some stuff right before this where it talks about how Jesus was led on a cross. They brought to crucify him. They labeled him the King of the Jews. And then it goes into Matthew 27, verse 50. And it says, when Jesus had cried out, and this is the very end of the crucifixion, his last breath, he gave up his spirit. And at the moment that Jesus died, at the moment, the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. And so this large curtain that was in that temple when Jesus died ripped apart. It broke in that temple, which threw off a lot of people because this is not like some little sheet of paper. This is a thick, solid thing, and it tore. And God was showing the people that there is no longer a barrier between knowing who I am and knowing the relationship I want with you. And it was this giant symbolism that took place there. All why we celebrate Easter right there. We celebrate Easter to be reminded that this was a great change in how man relates to God. And as God said, look, I don't want you just to see just these certain parts. I want you to see all of how much I love you. I want you to see every angle in this aspect of this relationship I have for you. I don't want a barrier between you and me any longer. And I don't want you to wander this earth feeling like you are unknown, to wonder if you belong or you are loved. God changed everything to say, I know you, and I want you to know me. I want this relationship to be there, and I don't want there to be a separation between us. I don't want there to be a barrier. And that is really why we celebrate Easter. And in your groups today, I want you to really talk about that idea of barriers. What are barriers between us and a relationship with God? See, when Jesus passed away, and we're going to get to the whole resurrection and all of that stuff as we go on towards Easter. But in that moment, when that barrier was ripped, there was no longer this sacrifice of animals for our sins. Jesus said, I'm the final sacrifice. The curtain is removed. So all of that stuff in the temple, that was the old covenant God had between man and him. This is the new way. This is the relationship you can have. No barriers at all. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, why then do we still feel like there's barriers between us and God? And often those barriers are things that we put up. We place there. We go back into sin. We bring things into our life, and then we put them between us and God, and then we think, well, God doesn't still love me. He doesn't really want who I am. I don't really fit in with God. And we start putting our own barriers back up when God said, I have removed all of those barriers. You're putting your own things in there now. And so in small groups today, I want you to think about this idea of how barriers can keep us between our relationships with other people. Why do we put up our own barriers sometimes in relationships with people? Why do we think like I wouldn't really be accepted? But then also I want you to think about, first of all, how amazing is what God really did for us. But then also, what barriers, what things do you put up between you and God? And maybe those barriers are just I have doubts and questions that are left unanswered that I don't search for. And so I put these barriers up. I have thoughts about who God is even though I haven't really looked at those things and I haven't brought them to him. Or maybe it's sin. Maybe it's other junk in life. And you're thinking, I do this stuff and I put these barriers back up. When God's saying, look, I don't want barriers between us. I want you to know you are known and you belong. When we start having that relationship with God, it affects our relationships with other people to where we want to be known and we know, like, I'm fine with other people knowing who I am because I'm confident in my relationship with Christ. And so as you guys go to your small groups today, there's lots of different ways you can take this conversation. And so I think it's good just to be honest about stuff and to talk about these things and really look at how huge this was And what Christ did is we get ready to celebrate Easter. So I'm going to pray and then let you guys go off to groups. God, I thank you for this, Lord. There's so much depth and real history in this lesson, and it really, we could talk for weeks just about the idea of the difference between worshiping in the temple and what you did for us by removing all of those barriers. And so, God, we are just grateful. Over the next few weeks as we look at our relationship with you and prepare our hearts so that by Easter time, God, we know why we're celebrating. We are ready to celebrate it. We want to do it with joy and with just so much respect for what you've done for us, God. And so I pray during our small groups today that we can look and say, what do I put up between me and God? What do I put up between me and other people? Why am I afraid to be known? And why do I do this in our own personal relationships, God? So we thank you for this time. Amen. All right, you guys can go. I think juniors, you guys are with seniors today. So you guys will all be together in that room. Not girls. Sorry, guys. Junior guys and senior guys are together. And freshman guys. Where's my freshman guys at? Okay. Well, Chris is here. Chris and Blaine are. All right, Blake, you guys, freshmen and sophomores will be together with Blake.